Your award committee, and Skip's going to come up and make that presentation.
Thank you, Brian, and thank you, Michelle, again for your sponsorship. Jane, thank you and the Chamber for this opportunity to recognize small business excellence. I always love this because I never get a crowd like this anywhere else. So it's a great day to be here. And while I'm doing thank yous, I want to thank the committee that I got to work with in this selection process. I'll tell you a little more about that a little later, but if you would please, committee, when I call your name, please stand, and if the audience doesn't mind, please hold your applause until they're all up. Brenda Vandermeulen. Okay, Jerry Tonini, Todd Whiteman. There is one here, thank you. Hans Mulder, Mike Lozon, Alpha Mansoray, and Michael Hill. Alpha's in the back. Thank you all for what you've done. Next, it gives me great pleasure to introduce a very special group of business visionaries. They're our past Small Business Persons of the Year, and they deserve our special attention this morning. I'd like each of you to stand as your name is called and remain standing. And audience, again, please hold your applause until they've all been introduced. Our former recipients of the Small Business Year of the Business Person of the Year Award with us today are Pat Thompson, Don Heringa, Jim Vanette, Mark Tanis, Dan Driesinger, Keith Malmstedt, Larry Koiker, Jeff Disher, Chuck Reed, and I think Jack Bauman's here somewhere. These folks represent the best in American business, in my opinion. They're the dreamers who dipped into savings, mortgaged their homes, skipped meals, and lost sleep to grow their businesses, and we're lucky to have them. Many of us have been on this committee for several years, and Hans can certainly relate to this because we've been in hard hats together many times. Our studies have taken us to a variety of places. We've been in machine shops. We've been on assembly lines. We've watched recyclable materials being sorted. We've been to a lot of strange places. And I can't speak for everybody else, but I never tire of the opportunity to see the variety and strength of our business community. And I want to acknowledge those folks who were nominated this year who were not selected. I want you to know in our minds, you're all winners. And now to the main event. Out on Quincy Street, there's a very pleasant, white, unimposing building with nice landscaping that I've probably driven by 100 times and just never noticed. Inside that building, they're doing some astounding things. And this was one of those visits where on the tour we really had to suit up. We were wearing head coverings, we were wearing frocks, we were wearing foot protection, safety glasses, really serious business. And by the way, I didn't mention, but it was very cold. We had a plant tour that showed amazing dedication and care in the production of a number of products being sold through retailers all over the Midwest. We saw meticulous attention to product quality, streamlined production that was efficient and fast. In short, mass production in a very touchy business. So touchy that regulators have offices on the premises. In our interview, we heard a story of relentless dedication to customer service in manufacturing products to the consumer's specifications. We were, in fact, blown away. So I'm going to let let our Small Business Person of the Year tell his story. But I have to tell you that when this meeting is over and he goes back to the daily grind, it really is a grind. Our Small Business Person of the Year is Doug Heckman from Quincy Street Incorporated.
Very much. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Well, thank you. Is this on? Can you hear me out there okay? All right. Boy, that's almost makes you think, why am I in this business, huh? Thank you, Skip. I appreciate it for the kind words. But it sounds a little cliche, but there are a ton of folks that I have to point out and thank. And so you get up here and Skip says, Doug, just get up there and tell your story. I'll do that. But a couple things. And I want to start out with the chamber itself. Been to several of these. You folks are here fairly regularly. Have you ever really sat back and gone on the website, look at vision, mission, and do that little research thing? Just let me give you a couple quotes. This is the chamber speaking. Our vision is working together to make the Lake Shore the best place to live, learn, prosper, and play. What a great line, huh? I can appreciate that. And continuing, the mission, again, the chamber speaking. Our mission is to build an exceptional community, advocate for strong business climate, and provide value to our members. Again, what a great comment. And then finally, I just went through some of the verbiage and picked out a couple sentences. And here's what your chamber believes and wants to do for you. As a major force in our community's economic prosperity, the chamber is committed to promoting a high quality of life for local business and the entire community by defining, developing, and implementing programs and services that expand investment and job opportunity and add to the economic activity of the area. Now really, I think you should give your chamber a round of applause, please. So thanks again for what they're doing. Again, this is a great honor. I was talking to somebody earlier, and I speak in front of crowds often, so that's not the deal. But rarely do I get up and talk about myself. It seems a little self-serving, but anyway. So first of all, again, the chamber, thank you for the honor. It is that. And then I got to point out a couple folks that really support me. We, as a privately held corporation, we have a board of directors like everybody else, and a lot of times people would say, well, that's just kind of a fluff thing, and that's not the case with us. We have 3 outside directors that really help. They bring wisdom and guidance. They may not be in the pork business, but they bring some real community information and really helps us as a management team. So 3 outside directors, Steve Moss, Marge Moss, and Dr. Dave Myers. So you guys are awesome. I appreciate everything you do for me, so for us as a team. And then we have 3 inside directors, 2 other than myself, and that's Phil Holtrup, our CFO, and Doug Miller, our COO. So that's, again, guys, we couldn't do it without you. And then sitting in, yeah, give them a hand. And then also sitting in on our board meetings as our corporate counsel, Jack Sievers. Jack just brings some great, expensive, but he brings us some, I tell you what, but you're worth it, Jack, come on. But Jack brings a good flavor, keeps us on the straight and narrow. You'll hear a little bit. We are an ethical company, and so we appreciate that. So that's just a cool deal. Again, thank you, folks. And then my lovely wife. 35 years, she sees a side of me that these folks probably don't see so often, but anyway, so thank you, honey, for being there for me. But anyway, and then certainly God. You know, I don't want to do a Tim Tebow here, but we wouldn't be where we are today. There's a lot, we're doing a lot of things right. We're very successful, we're profitable, that's all wonderful, but it shouldn't work. The big guys should chew us up and spit us out. And we just have a lot of neat things going. We're competing all across the country. Our distributor in Seattle is the second largest pork supplier in Alaska, so you make a case that we're the second largest pork supplier to Alaska from Little O'Holland, Michigan. So I mean, it shouldn't be working, but God has chosen to bless us, and I'll talk more about that and why I think that is. But okay, the Chamber again did a great job on putting this together. How do you get selected? Many of you may not even know. How do you get selected? How does this work? Well, they send out a little questionnaire, and there's 11 questions, and I probably won't have time to go through them all, but what I really want to do is give you my written verbatim answers to that, and then I can expound a little bit on it, and if there's any questions at the end, we can talk about that. But I have a short little clip, that's about a 4-minute clip I'd like to show you, and then we'll have a little more discussion, so screens on either side. Thank you.
From the traditional holiday ham your whole family enjoys, to the pork toppings on your favorite pizza, one company has focused on carrying on the tradition of making nutritious and delicious pork products. That company is Quincy Street, Holland, Michigan. The old world traditional flavor of Quincy Street's pork products is created in an ultra-clean, modern facility. The company's ongoing investments in production efficiency, together with the skills of more than 200 committed associates, have been the foundation of Quincy Street's 20-year growth in a highly competitive pork market.
Our industry has developed technology and equipment that can produce old world tradition in a new world technological food safe arena. We recapitalize the plant regularly, so we're running state-of-the-art equipment in a very, very costly environment of purchasing equipment. Today there are processes that make it very clean and have a nice flavor to the ham. Things like smoking with real wood chips.
Whole and boneless hams, pork roasts, breakfast and specialty sausages are naturally smoked for up to 8 hours in state-of-the-art smokehouses, creating the rich, authentic flavor valued for generations.
I can monitor a smokehouse from anywhere and therefore works very nicely with our food safety. The main products we're private labeling here for the consumer, the retail side, would be any of the ham products that you would see in your grocery store meat case. And then additionally, we would sell into the delis in the regular traditional grocery store, whether it's a Black Forest ham or a Virginia ham or a maple or a honey ham. That would be our product in the retailer's private label.
With every private label comes the quality assurance of Quincy Street's stringent, unwavering food safety program. Perhaps the most important ingredient for the company's growing food service and retail customers across the country.
We have reached a SQF, Safe Quality Food, Level 3 certification, which is really unusual for a plant our size, but it takes a lot of time and resources and people to get that done. When you enter the plant, there's a full procedure of cleaning, hands sanitize feet, clean coats, even head wear is sanitized. Once you reach the plant in a ready-to-eat area, you've virtually been sanitized top to bottom, and again, that's why we haven't had any issues with food safety here. When people see our high-level customer service, you walk into our lobby, you see all the awards we've won, which has been very, very nice. Again, a team effort. Additionally, what helps us here is the West Michigan business environment. This is a very entrepreneurial area. I think our workforce here is some of the best in the country. I've lived and worked in some of the major plants across the country, and the work ethic here is just very, very good, and that's been a key to our success. We believe our teammates are the corporation's best assets. One of my goals was always to make Quincy Street the best place to work. gratification of this business is that we're building traditional food, spiral hams, regular hams, Black Forest hams that are traditionally eaten as a family. Personal opinion, in this day and age, we're all moving too fast, and we want to continue to do what we can to help build traditions, and we've done that through promoting the family value.
Quincy Street. Taste the tradition.
Gives you a little bit of an idea of what we do there. The meat business is a tough business, highly regulated, but you choose to be in it, so you do that. But okay, with a couple remaining minutes, this is the weird part for me, where Skip said, "Tell your story, Doug. How'd you get here?" So I guess I'll spend a minute on that, and then a couple points on the questionnaire. I'm a West Michigan boy. Holland Christian, Calvin, Michigan State. Bruce and I were in the same class together. He was this little troublemaker from Zeeland, but Bruce and I, same class at school. So actually finished up at Michigan State. I'm with their ag program, which is very, very strong. So always wanted to be in the food business. Meanwhile, growing up as a kid, our whole family was pilots. So I became a pilot, got my license on my 16th and 17th birthday, and went into flying for Tulip City. So I'm obviously a huge advocate of what Bruce was talking about. Started as a charter pilot, started flying Prince people around up and back to Detroit and sit all day, and for many of the other corporations in Holland. Started a charter service, not in competition with Tulip City, but there was 5 companies that owned 2 airplanes, and I became their corporate pilot. Well, so how'd you get from flying to the meat business? Well, one of the companies was Henry House. You remember Henry House. Great company, good people. The Evers family wanted to get out, so they sold. We sold the Holly Farms at that time, and then Tyson bought all the Holly Farms and immediately goofed it all up. So they closed. So then here I'm a young man, and now what do we do? Got recruited to Wichita, Kansas, which is where I met Doug Miller, for Cargill, XL, great company. Still, I think, the largest privately held company in the country. The year I left, they were $72 billion in sales with a $900 million pre-tax and a $1.4 billion cash flow or something. So I mean, it's just this astronomical company, just very, very successful. Well, one day the phone rings, and it's some folks from Holland. And 2 seconds on Wichita, I'll digress real quickly why Holland was so attractive and what I mean by the West Michigan work ethic. Moved to Kansas to do that whole deal. We helped a church get started. Shar was our church secretary, and Doug Miller and I led worship. And so, I mean, it was a whole experience. But we moved in July so we could get the kids in school that fall. 2 weeks to the day we move in, still shown on TV today, one of the few F5 tornadoes. I mean, Wichita is Tornado Alley, believe me. It's the F5 that took out McConnell Air Force Base, you know, cracked all the B-1 bombers, and I mean, it was terrible. We moved in, I was in the garage working, getting ready, new house and everything, and starts hailing, and then bigger and bigger and bigger. Shar comes running out and says, "Get in the house, tornadoes." We spent the next 6 hours in the basement and literally destroyed half the city, and Doug can attest to that. He was there at the time. Several deaths. A gentleman that worked for me lost his daughter in that, and so this is 2 weeks in Kansas. Shar's looking at me going, "Whoa, we're out of here." But we did. I mean, growing up in West Michigan, Kansas, we met some of the neatest people and are still friends with them, but USA Today had a poll several years ago that listed the top 50 states to vacation in. And I think Florida was 1 and California was 2 and Kansas was 50. So, I mean, it was not a pleasant place, windy and hot every day, every day, every day. But anyway, we got used to it. So anyway, got a call from Holland. Said, "Hey, there's this company that had just started, and unfortunately, like a lot of startup companies, didn't go well in a very short order." Says, "Hey, you want to come manage it and buy it and be part of it?" And boy, you talk about a leap of faith. A lot of prayer time went into that. A lot of, is this the right thing? Again, Cargill, managing my own division, our own little corporate jet for our division, and life was pretty good. A lot of thought and prayer, and we said, yeah, we'll take it. But Jim and I were talking earlier about risk. What's an entrepreneur? And again, it's taken a risk, and it was a huge risk. But thankfully, 18 years later, we have had 17 years of consecutive profits. We have grown every year. In fact, last year, fiscal 12, we just closed. We had our best year in the history of the company, closed with a 20% growth in sales and a 30% growth in profit. So it's been a phenomenal run. But anyway, okay, back onto this questionnaire a minute. I got about 6-8 minutes yet. For those of you who have done this program before, you know the lovely questionnaire I'm talking about here, but I just want to go through a couple of my answers that I have here. Well, I'll have to pick just a couple. Question 2 and 3, what makes your company's product or service innovative, and what sets you apart from other companies? So I'm just going to read my verbatim, which must have blown Skip away or he wouldn't have come talk to me, so they must have been the right answers he was looking for. So let me just read this verbatim and then we'll talk about it. Our innovation comes from our relentless efforts to improve customer service. We are a private label company. We take our customers' requirements and manufacture them to their specifications. Our innovation also sets us apart from our competition. Product quality, including food safety and customer service. And then when I talked about in the video here, I'll expand on, we've achieved an SQF level 3. That's a third party. Obviously, we're regulated by the government and stringently. They have what they call a third party and third party audit. It would be like an ISO 9000 or that kind of thing. This is our version of that for our industry. And it's tough. It took us years of working on it to get done, but we have it. We walk into the big companies now, and they go, oh, you're an SQF level 3 company. Oh, great, we'll talk to you. We had a meeting with Kroger nationally about a month ago, and the first question before he even got the appointment was, are you an SQF level 3? So the world is really into this food safety thing, and should be. I mean, how many recalls are you hearing this day and age? And so food safety is a big deal. Another difference is our culture. Not only do we promote and encourage family values, we also teach several classes on personal success and leadership. Let me just talk a minute about that. Doug has a class, and this is what Jack had talked about, that it's so different than a lot of companies are doing. We call it book club. But we have 5 books, that including Servant Leader and Good to Great, and Doug actually teaches those classes. It's a 13-week class. Management takes it. Hourly folks can take it. They get paid while they're taking it. And we don't have the time, but I'd love to have Doug share some of the comments of people come up and go, this has made such a difference in my personal life. And not only is it good for us as an employer, it's the right thing to do for who we are, but it's really gratifying when they come up and say, this has made a big difference in my personal life. Thank you. So that's pretty innovative that we're doing that. Okay, let me end up on a little bit of a political note, because it was in the questionnaire. What future political, economic, or social issues do you believe will affect your business? And again, we're all in business here. Higher taxes and stringent government regulations continue to hamper our job growth. Even though we're doing well, please be involved. As mentioned before, we have very high quality benefits. Our insurances, our 401ks, long-term disability, I mean the list could go on. We take very good care of our employees. The cost of these benefits continue to escalate at an alarming rate. This will continue to hurt our business as well as our teammates. Healthcare costs continues to increase the cost of doing business, and again, I would hope we did not make it easier for people not to work and rely on the government. So I guess you know where I stand on those kind of things. But as a business person, however you're going to vote, get out and vote. I mean, that is, again, a little ringing endorsement of these guys here. I'm not telling you how to vote or anything, but do exercise your right and your duty. But Okay, and then finally, their question number 10 was, describe your participation in civic and community organizations and associations. Quincy Street is a tithing company. We have tithed since $1. That's just what I believe in, it's what we do. And by the way, we tithe pre-tax, not after-tax. It just depends whether you want God to bless your pre-tax or after-tax. So, I mean, I remember we had a discussion, Phil smiles and he lines right up with me, but I mean, it's what we're taught to do. And I could give you a whole nother talk on testing God, where he says, test us, you know, give back to me, test me. And he has blessed us. Again, this shouldn't have worked like it's working, and this is all from God. So, but then, and they wanted to know where, what, and all that. I'll digress a little bit. After Shar and I got married, we had 2 lovely daughters. One is here today, Lindsay. Both master degree, both just out doing the right thing. Lindsay, a little selfish plug for Habitat for Humanity. Lindsay's the business manager of Habitat for Humanity, so obviously I support that. So where else, what do I personally support? Ridgepoint Community Church is my home church, and I'm past chair of the board there, so they're obviously a big thing for me. Habitat for Humanity, if you're not involved, again, a selfish plug, but great organization. Another thing that is part of who we are is Lindsay's sister and brother-in-law are pastors out of Hope and Western, and in fact that's where they met, at Western. And Dave is senior pastor of Rose Park RCA Church, so we support that nicely there, and Dave's doing a great job there. And then finally, for me, because it's important for next generations and everything, we're pretty good supporters of the Boys and Girls Club. And I think they just do a fantastic job. So they just wanted to know, what are we doing? And again, it's community. I want to put my tithe back into the community, because this community has been very, very good to me. Having lived, I don't know how many of you are not from here or have lived away or whatever, we have it very good here. We really, really do, and a lot to be thankful for. So, but anyway, 1 minute. See, right on time. Unless there's a question or comment, again, I thank everyone. This is quite an honor, quite unexpected actually, but hey, I appreciate all your support. So, thank you.